So this is my third attempt to make a video. But anyways, the cool thing about, I guess, about going through life, going through my story, is seeing how imperfect it is, but yet still not giving up. Knowing that I have to continue to do the work, that I have to continue to work on myself, that my answers don't rely on life itself, but my life, what I'm going through, you know what I mean? The growth has to come from within myself. So the good thing is I've always been good at hard things. Like the harder it gets sometimes, and I'm not asking for it to get harder, but sometimes that's where I thrive the most, on difficult shit, on challenges, big challenges, and especially like emotionally. So I don't know, I guess I was built for that. I'm not sure. I think so. I think so because that's I continue to push myself. I mean, some days hurt more than others. Today I guess it's a different hurt. I don't know, it's confusing my mind. Sometimes I think like my mind is broken, but it's really not. Like it's just not the same, but that's the beauty about all of us. We all come from different places in different walks of life, and the beauty of us coming together is that my brain is not the same as everybody else's, and yours isn't either. But us bringing our brains together, listening to different people with different personalities, different opinions, just different views, is beautiful, because the people you learn from the most are sometimes the people that think different than you. Um, but the good thing is that I do have a beautiful heart, I always go back to the things that I do have, like not so much the struggle, but what God has given me, things you can't really buy, Um, I mean, obviously, like I do still struggle with ADHD, but I see it more as a blessing now. It's annoying to be honest sometimes because I'm like, because like to be honest, like I see books when I go to the library, I like look at books, but there's times where I have to fight my own self to continue to read. Um, the good thing I've been listening to other people and how they meditate and what they do, and I always like a challenge anyways. The biggest challenge for me obviously is myself, is concentration, because I remember even being at school, and if they had the window open just a little bit, or if a fly passed by, I was gone. I was out. I was looking at everywhere but there. I was everywhere but there, and thank God that I've learned little by little to see it as a blessing. Because to be honest, I've always been really competitive. Um, with the things that I go through and the things I do. And I always try to encourage my own self, I've always had faith, I've always believed in God. And the good thing is that I know that God is patient and kind. I believe that He always pushes us to do better and do the right thing, But we also have a choice. And today I choose me. I choose to grow. I choose to learn. I choose to be honest. And I choose to leave what was behind me there. Um, because I think I've heard this before, that my past was not a life sentence, but a life lesson, And the cool thing is today I'm clean to be able to talk about it, to be able to grow, to be able to continue. And then especially when I go back and I look at pictures of of my kids, and how much I want for myself, first of all, to be able to be an example, and to see them grow up and see their mom do good things with her life, as imperfect as my walk has been. I really, I really did try, the best way I guess I knew how. Like, even when I was using, I remember one time, like, I guess I'll get really honest. One time I was using, I was using drugs, and I didn't even. It got to a point where, to be honest, you get so low, you don't even want to use it. You're just running, and that's my go-to is um, trying to run from myself. But everywhere I go, I take me, my brain, my heart, everything's there. Still broken, still fucked up, and even worse. Every time I picked up, it didn't get better, it got worse. But I remember one time I was reading the Bible. I think I ran out of drugs. No, I was still high. Yeah. And I was reading the Bible. And even at my lowest, like, I always had that faith. I'm like, I know there's a God. I know there's a God. And I would read the Bible, and I'm like, no, like, there's gotta be a way out of here. And I would continue to believe. Like, thank God that I had good examples before me, in with my grandparents. And I always enjoyed going to church and praying, and I did always enjoy the Bible. I always believed in it. I always did. And the good thing is that through my walk, I was able to keep that faith and that love. And maybe I didn't know how to love, because I was unhealthy, very unhealthy. Um, because as soon as I would try to get close to someone, or somebody would try to get close to me, um, I sense some danger. So I would run before they would, especially because a lot of times I had a broken heart. So a lot of the times I was just bleeding on everybody else. And I don't know, I didn't know, I mean, I guess at the time I was so unhealthy and not willing to do the work that it took. I just kept on running, and I was hurting. And that's not an excuse. Thank God that's in the past. That's why today, when I focus on solutions, which is what the program of recovery teaches you, is solution. And that's the only thing I do today is, okay, I'm hurting. And it's like a self-examination every day. Like, where am I hurting and what can I do? Okay, there's a book that I can read that focuses on self, and that I can write about, calling my sponsor, calling the people that have done this program before me, that have done this walk before me. Because I also have to remind myself, because I can be very prideful. I got to remind myself that I don't know shit, you know what I mean? I'm just starting out, I'm just starting out, and starting to work on myself. So there's a lot of times where I got to remind myself, okay, you might be good at this, but where are you lacking? And that's where the growth comes in, realizing that there's shit that I'm still learning myself. And that's how life is. I mean, I could be 90 years old, still learning, because the good thing about life is you can learn from anyone and anything, That's why I always, when I come across people, and especially the children, um, I listen, I listen. I always ask God, let me listen with my heart, let me listen with my heart. And that's the best way I know how to listen, is with my heart, because that's where the compassion comes out, and the understanding, and really seeing what's in there. So anyways, thank you guys. Love you.